Welcome to the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Social Club here at Vale, the sharp social hub of positivity. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and if I don't make it out alive, I wish this was a live broadcast so that people could hear where I was, but it's going to be recorded, so it's not going to help me, is it? No, anyway, we're in the Vale. We're in the Vale, the Vale of
White Horse.
The Vale of the White Horse, and why would it not be? Of course it's the Vale of the White Horse. Never heard of it before, never seen it, don't think it really exists. These people do. These are the wonderful people from the Minety Festival. Do you call it the Mighty Music Festival, or is it the
Mighty Music Festival?
the Mighty Music Festival, if you don't mind me flipping a coin. Now, you can all introduce yourselves independently, because you're all big people. And can you give your names and what your role is with the festival? Please, Fiona.
Okay. I'm Fiona Gummerson, and my responsibility within the festival is for all the vendors and the catering to make the experience that the customers have as broad as possible.
Sweet.
Very good. Sorry, I follow that.
That's what you just said. Is that what you do? All right. Good to meet you.
That's why I got it this week.
So that's what you do, right? Don't you just? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Philip Evans, and I'm really responsible now for the volunteers, which we couldn't be without, but also quite involved in the infrastructure side. Yeah, two small things.
Rich Swatton, basically I deal with the bands and website and sponsorship and marketing. So yeah, I bring money in and spend it as well.
You do, yeah. But you spend more than you bring in.
Yeah.
Spend more than you bring in, that's not the way around. Wait a minute.
So I sub in with the catering.
Okay.
I'm Colin Laker. I look after the finance, governance, safety, budgeting, and the plans side of it. All of us together, we work on the infrastructure as well. So we all pitch in when it comes to that kind of stuff. I normally try and run an agenda of some sort during these evenings, and we have a rolling agenda of 4 separate meetings. One led by each one of the directors in the limited company that is Mighty Music Festival.
Right.
Each week.
It's big. I mean, tell me this. So, who started it? You two. Where were you when you started it?
His back garden.
Oh, okay.
We had a barbecue. I think we were drunk.
Yeah, we were definitely drunk. Yeah. I think you've got to be drunk to come up with ideas like this.
I mean, not continually drunk though for all those years.
No.
That's pushing it slightly. You can produce
all the best ideas or something.
Yeah, and we just priced up an idea of getting local bands together in the village field next to the village hall, actually.
Yeah.
We worked out it would be about 300 people, and what would it take to put 300 people somewhere and listen to bands for an afternoon, maybe 2 days. And that was the sums, which were very ropey, but we got back to it the following week and started to form up from there.
Wow. So how many years ago was that?
First festival was 2017, so that was probably summer of 2016. We decided we were going to go for it.
Yeah. So you took the first year was a year of prepping and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
How many people turned up for the first one?
I think we topped out about 550 on Saturday.
It was more successful than we planned.
Right.
And it took us a bit by surprise, which ever since has focused us on infrastructure and support.
Yeah. So, started off with the idea of 300, got 550. How many did you have at your last one, and when was the last one? Because we had the pandemic. I mean, people have heard about the pandemic.
Yeah. So,
How many?
we topped out at just about it was 2,400 something. Wow. By the time we
So 2 drunken geezers in the back of the garden having a barbecue. So I don't know, 300 people, that'll be a laugh. And it's almost got to 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're licensed for 3,000.
Yeah.
You're licensed for it, and it's just grown, isn't it? It's a big thing. Anyone who wants to see it, we'll get the contact details on this wherever we put this out, because we may or may not be announcing bands tonight. I mean, I might not get out of here alive, so if you see this recording, let's just see. It's
Possibly
gone.
do one.
You can do one band.
We can do one.
Yeah,
one band. That's
say
an
the date.
exclusive.
Let's just make sure we push the date now, because I want people to put it in their diaries regardless, because it's great. I've seen what you've done in previous years. It's one of them ones that you could go to your festival, don't care really who's playing, there's lots going on, and it's that thing about local, this is the point, local people come together. Minety, what's the population of Minety? If you say 26,000, I'm going to laugh.
Yeah, about 4,000.
Right, so it's of a size, but not massive. It's not even a town. It's so 4,000 people, and you're putting on nearly something that technically half of the people in your whole population could come and enjoy. In fact, nigh on all of them, I guess, if 3,000 is
Yeah.
about right. This is amazing. You're all volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way the limited company works is it makes money in the music festival and it makes a certain amount of profit. We split the profit in half down the centre. Half goes towards the charities that we raise money for. The other half gets reinvested into the next year, some kind of infrastructure, tentage, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All of the people that work on the festival are volunteers, so none of us draw any pay or anything like that from the limited company. The only people we pay are contractors like security.
Got it. Yeah. And they're all professional, licensed, they've got insurance, so of course you're going to do that.
And even our first aiders are volunteers, it's just they're volunteers for a first aid organisation.
Right.
So we're not paying full commercial rates because that's just too expensive for the festival.
Yeah.
But the Fairford first aid people come and provide us, they're volunteers, but then we pay them to cover their costs.
That's fantastic. And you do the air ambulance as well, don't you?
Wiltshire Ambulance, Naomi House, Children's Hospice, Combat Stress, and normally one other as well.
Yeah.
That we roll through.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So, how big do you think, so if you say that it's 3,000,
Yeah.
you're going to top out at that quite soon. Is that it then? You're not going to do a Michael
that's
Eavis
it.
and start
No.
hiring another village?
So
You're
we-
not going to start, we're not going to see this spread, are we, to shoot? No, I mean, I didn't quite predict.
We always said when we first set out to do this, right from day one, we said 3,000 capacity, absolute max, and that's the biggest we're ever going to go.
You said that the first time.
Yeah,
didn't you?
we actually
Lunatics
genuinely-
in the garden going,
Yeah, we.
I don't know, 300, yeah, 300, 3,000.
No, well, it was that was the limit we always set on it, purely because I've been to enough festivals, and I think when you get over that amount, it becomes a different animal, and you lose the local connection, and depending on what type of festival you're running, it can sometimes attract the wrong kind of people, and it starts to change atmosphere a little bit. So where we are now, it's a really nice festival, and it's almost self-policing because invariably one person out of two is from the local area. So if anyone starts stepping out of line, you usually find 3 or 4 people that will.
Who'll say, Rich, stop it.
Yeah, usually.
Slow down. Put that bottle down. It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
But we're also very family friendly, so we have a whole kids zone area,
Yes.
which is included in the cost of the ticket. There's no additional charge for families who are bringing their kids to there's no additional charge for the kids zone. And on a Saturday afternoon, you'll quite often find that 25% of the people on site are under 16, because it's really important to us that we have that family.
Oh,
family focus as
absolutely.
well.
That's the point. There isn't just music, is there? There's all sorts of activities that can happen, and it's just a kind of, as you say, fun for all the family. But actually, we're going to add some names to this. Let's throw a few names of the people that you've had in the past. Then maybe we'll throw one. It's June, isn't it? What's the date?
So
We'll put it on this.
the date for next year is the 30th of June, 1st and 2nd of July.
Right.
So
hopefully you
over
work
that
the
June
smack-
July bang,
Yeah.
June July weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the names that you've had previously.
We've had.
Because you do local, what I love about it is it supports local bands. You get all the local bands get to play, which
And
is
then
great.
they get to rub shoulders with these really big
Yeah.
bands.
Oh yeah, the tall bands. Oh Tony, you're like you're the more famous are the taller you get.
So what was your favourite one? Because you booked them all.
My favourite one that we've had ever, bizarrely, was Chesney Hawkes.
Yeah.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Because he was
the one and only. Tell us that.
he was the one and only. Yeah. No, he was just a genuinely lovely guy backstage as well, and he
got all the kids up on
he had about
stage.
he had about 60, 70 kids up on stage with him for his encore song,
Yeah.
and you know, and it was just a great set, and it
He's
got everyone going.
He was fairly typical of the way Rich goes about this. So Rich knows people who know Chesney.
Yeah.
And when we got down to it, it turns out Chesney comes from Swindon, which we didn't know.
Well, no one admits that.
And he,
Joking, I love Swindon.
he comes across every year to see his mum. He lives in Hollywood, in America. He's a writer for lots of other bands in America, so even more famous than probably is here. So when I paid the fee to contract him to bring him in, it was actually for a flight ticket. That's what we were paying for.
Yeah.
To bring him to England so he could see his mum. And then we picked him up by taxi from Swindon, and he came and did the gig for us here in Minety.
Wow.
So that's the reason he did it. It wasn't, oh, I'll come to Minety and do the music festival. It was, oh, it's close to my home, I'll see my mum.
Minety, Glastonbury, yeah. Go on.
And that was the hook.
Yeah.
That's how we got
That's
it. We
lovely.
probably wouldn't have been able to afford him otherwise. Really.
Yeah. Bizarrely enough, I have actually met him previously, and I thought the same thing. Just very decent
Just
chap.
a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No airs and graces. He was a decent geezer, which is lovely. Now, so Chesney Hall, give us a snippet of some of the other stuff you've had, and then maybe one of the things I know that you've possibly got in the boiler for this. next
We've
one.
had this year we had Cast headlined the Sunday. We had Jesus Jones played Space. We had Dread Zone in Doctor and the Medics.
Yeah, I mean, this is a
Doctor
proper.
Medics a bit twice.
They played
It's a
twice, yeah.
proper reason. I don't know why I'm saying this. I mean, people will see this. You know, all three of them will see this in various parts of the world and go, "Minety, I'm going there next year. Don't give a damn." But actually, it is worth it, isn't it? The place you do it everywhere around here is a pretty place if you were visiting. But it's not just about the music. It's more about the community as well. Now, this is interesting. You come from completely different walks of life. Is it the only thing you've got in common besides your friendship now? The fact that you live in the village?
We all know each other, really, because of the pub where we sat.
Now, there's the thing. The public
And if
house.
we weren't doing the Mighty Music Festival, we'd be in here most nights anyway, given half a chance.
So basically, this festival saved you your livers from each other.
Yeah, well, mostly.
So this is it. You just basically know each other from the pub.
Yeah.
You spread the word. You said who wants to do this. You've got, is it 4 different committees?
Yeah.
4 different committees of local people.
Yeah.
I mean, one committee for anything is pushing it, isn't it? You know, they say nothing gets done by committee. Yet you do it. Not you do it every year, mainly volunteers, and you've got 4 different committees. I'd love to film this. This is one of them ones, isn't it? Seriously. It's a template, and the reason why. So why do you want to interview us about this? Because you're self-motivated members of the community. This whole, I don't know how you'd call it, the connection that you've got could be about just about anything. Do you know what I mean? In a community setting. So I'm trying to exemplify community members getting together and going, oh, no, wait a minute. You're not waiting for someone out there. You're not travelling. Well, you can actually. There's to be fair, you know, around here there's some really good festivals, isn't there? There's the Boondocks, there's the S.H.O.P.
Festival on the Farm.
Yeah, you've got all that great stuff in Malmesbury. What's called Mom? Yeah, what's the arts group? We met them. They're fantastic. There's just like it's like top rate stuff always going on.
Yeah, so they're doing a
these
lot
areas.
they're doing a lot in the Malmesbury Town Hall now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But are
I
you
think-
linked to them?
no.
No, right. So
Do some reconnaissance.
We actually, I mean, but half of those guys play in a band called the Long Players,
Oh, I know, I've seen
who play every year at
Yeah.
the festival.
Yeah,
At
at your
Mi-
festival?
Minety,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect.
So-
I mean, that as a concept is fantastic.
Great, yeah.
We saw when
Yeah.
George was at, we went and did one
Yeah.
of his, because it was like his work, he was doing that for that long place when they did
Yeah.
the Beatles.
Okay,
They
yeah.
did Sgt. Pepper's, that one I
Yeah.
saw, and I've just seen since all the ones they did. Thought, it's a brilliant idea.
It's a good concept. Yeah.
It's a great concept, but it's one of them ones. So I had this in my head about you lunatics out in the boondocks here, all doing. It's like there is, isn't there? There's actually a lot of lovely little festivals. You can say little, they're not that little. What was it? Was it the S.H.O.P one we were at? Again with George. George Davis, everyone. You want to
Yeah.
hire a really good sound or sorry, a lighting guy. There's the guy. Right. It was when it S.H.O.P. That had however many stages. There's loads of stuff going on. And this is what? Is it the air?
Well, lots of things going on as really. I mean, well, it's not apparent really. Is 2 of us are involved in the village shop, which has become. Your other half was. I mean,
My wife was, but
Fiona's all.
Fiona and Phil.
I'm the only one that's not involved in the village shop really, as well. But
Perhaps you should be.
Yes. Wait a minute. What are you doing? Yes.
Got some time on your hands,
Ducking
come and
and diving.
volunteer in the shop.
When you say village shop, that sounds more like a sort of more of a village shop
Yeah,
than
community.
It's
Yeah.
a community
It's a
shop.
community
yeah.
shop, yeah.
What is that with the people? You've got community coming out of your ears. I love it. Tell us a little bit about the community shop then. This could be the longest documentary I've ever made. Whose idea was
Go
that?
on, Phil.
Yeah, so I think it was, you know, the village used to have a shop many, many years ago, and for whatever reason, we lost the shop. And then I think a group of residents thought it would be good to have a shop back, so they formed a committee, like you do, and started raising money and trying to generate some interest. And then COVID came along. So
I heard about that.
yeah.
So Rich's other half, Rachel, and a very good friend of ours, basically created a pop-up shop in the bus shelter outside the school. And
It's very high tech.
It was, yeah. Had a table and everything. And you know that sort of gained a lot more interest. And then the people that run the village hall said, you know, we've got a committee room. You know, would you like to create a shop in the committee room? So again, we just took the tables from the bus shelter, put them in the committee room, and that's really where it started. And now if you go there, it's open 7 days a week at the back of the village hall, and it's a proper shop.
That is fantastic. Because we can have done community stuff work with teenagers in your village hall. The village hall is great, isn't it? Right. That's been there for years,
Yeah.
doing great stuff.
Yeah, so it's in the room, in the sort of the meeting room behind that. It's where the shop lives.
But it's not purely a shop. It also has a small cafe area. And so people are now encouraged to come and have a cup of coffee, particularly some of the older members of the community. Know that they can come in and have a cup of coffee, there's somebody they can chat with, you know, even if it's just one member of staff. There's always someone they can have a chat with. There's one particular gentleman that comes in regularly, isn't there? Every single day,
Every single
picks up
day.
his newspaper, sits and has a cup of coffee, has a chat with somebody and then heads off home. But he's seeing somebody every day. And equally, if he doesn't turn up, that's a red flag that says nobody's seen him today, we need to make sure he's okay. So it works both ways.
I feel like that with me in the pub.
I was going to say, when these boys ain't there, they're going, whoa, 1 second. Is it, yeah.
Where is Colin?
That's interesting because the reason this podcast is called the Shop, the Social Hub of Positivity, is because we set up in a shop in Emerygate. It's not really a shop, although there are artists, there are craftspeople that sell stuff out of it. Our main concern and main reason for doing it is it's a social hub.
Yeah.
Every day people come in. There are workshops, but invariably it's just people coming in, particularly out of COVID. Just coming for the first time out into the open to have a conversation. So we have, just in case any of these young people watching, this isn't alcohol. And it is a little bit, there's a little bit of alcohol in there, but what's doing is making me burp because I'm nervous because it's alcohol. They've never had me before. I come to meet these people. I'm doing this just out of respect to these people. You know, these two professional drinkers. I have to keep up with someone. So we have a fantastic set of volunteers now. When we started it, the Emerygate, Ed, can you make any use? In fact, there was about 3, as you can imagine, especially after COVID. And it happens to be one of the biggest ones in there, bar Tesco. So it's like, right, lots of space, lots of possibilities. But we run all sorts of community stuff, particularly with Hardest to Reach. We do an alternative education thing. So it's like, yeah, we could. Then my head thinking, it's going to take real, real volunteers. I don't know what it's going to become, but it has to be there first, and then we'll see. So I think we did maybe 3 months, 7 days a week, and then it flipped between us not having to do it really at all to it being taken over by artists and just fantastic community members. Barbara, who's the coordinator of it, coordinates all the volunteers who are fantastic people, and they do it. It's been running for, what's it, nearly 2 years now, isn't it? I thought when we started it was going to be about 6 weeks, I've got to tell you. Yeah, of course we can. What, no pop-up shop, love it. Yeah, of course we can. My God, is there any end to this? No, it's brilliant. It is fantastic. So I kind of have I shan't go into being too much of the I'm on the committees of nothing, because they rightfully run it without me because it runs better. But it's amazing when you do find that you have like-minded people, that you can come to a conclusion. Because we work up and down the country, I guarantee you, some of the places that we work, we are doing conflict resolution because they are literally not. I was going to say that they're having murder as a flippant thing, then I realised that's one of the places we did work. It was. Anyhow, nothing to do with Donna, it was nothing to do with her. We came back and anyway, that's been investigated. I can't talk too much. Okay, it was nothing to do with it, okay? Alright, it just happened. God damn you. Okay, you've got a confession at me, well done. No.
Back to your favourite band.
Yeah. But it's really quite a thing. Sometimes it's a minefield getting people to but so, do you have, no names mentioned, do you have those challenges with both of your initiatives? Is there that almost, not soap opera, but there's it's not all plain sailing is what I'm saying, because in case people say, oh, well, do you know what, let's open a shop, a community shop, and let's do not invite Rich, a music festival that involves alcohol. It's not easy.
It's
is what I'm saying.
It's a really good question, and it's quite surprising how the unity of the music festival pulls everyone in the right direction. Sometimes it's a case of holding the horses and pointing in the right direction. And other times it's watching for personal initiative and trusting.
Yeah.
We had a couple of really young people looking after merchandise for the first time this year. We've never done that before. And they turned the merchandise stand into something that we didn't really expect at all. In fact, it was only an experiment.
It's a bonfire.
It sold out.
Well, yes.
And yeah, it was amazing, and it kind of reminded us, or it reminded me anyway, that some people just take it by surprise. Yeah, even though you've got an idea of what the volunteer task is.
Yeah.
They were great, weren't they?
And that's it.
There were two young guys that basically took it on, pretty much sold everything out by Saturday lunchtime, and then gave us a list of, unexpectedly gave us a list of all the best sellers, you know, what people were asking for that we didn't have, and the feedback was just priceless.
It's like market
coming from like teenagers.
Again, initiative.
Great.
But I would say that part of that is that you're providing the opportunity, the space. You're not closing their initiative down. So fair play to you all. It is. I know you do what you do. How many is that? 17, 18, 19, 20?
Well,
We've run 4.
Yeah, we've run 4 because we had 2 years of cancellations with
Yeah.
COVID. So next year's our 5th now.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything that you think, if someone's out there listening, if they can hear without microphone talking, that's worked. This could just be a nice conversation we've yet again had. Is there anything, what would you say the highest and the lowest bit about it is? I know I don't want to put anyone on, but I also want to have a realistic expectation.
From the volunteer side?
Well, from everything. What's the hardest bit about it, would you say? Independently, then maybe go around and say, Fiona, excuse me, I don't know what's in there. What's the hardest bit about it? Don't mention names, Rich.
I think that from the perspective of the bit that I'm responsible for, the hardest thing is making sure that we've got a good range of particularly food vendors. But to make sure that there are options for everybody. So, you know, we've got the carnivores, we've got the vegans, we've got the vegetarians, we've got people who've got, you know, enough money to be able to spend 12 or 13 quid on a meal, but we've equally got an option for a family of 4 to be able to eat for 10 or 11 quid. So it's getting that whole range. But we're starting to develop enough of a reputation now that people want to come back.
Yes.
And we've got a couple of vendors who've been with us literally since year 1. They've created a little coffee box and come up from Melksham, and they're absolutely brilliant, and they support us right up to the nth degree. And then this year our ice cream van let us down at the last minute, so we went onto one of the websites, and an ice cream van came in from Bedford. and he had a brilliant time, and he really enjoyed it. And he's got family in Bristol, so he was able to stay with them overnight. And he's like, "Yeah, we'll definitely come back next year." So it's, you know, for us, for me, it's about making sure that we've got that wide range of options and opportunities for people to spend their money.
Fantastic, because you just reminded me. You actually get to stay the night in this place, don't you? You can
Yeah.
actually camp.
Huge campsite.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, if
Camping,
it wasn't
camper vans.
hard enough doing your daily turn up, and you've actually got, how many people can camp? Just in case anyone out there's thinking, oh, I'd like to do.
Tents.
Well, this year there was 250 tents and
20 odd,
120 plus for camper vans and caravans.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the current site that we're on, we've got a huge amount of space. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we can definitely increase that.
And
Right.
actually, quite a lot of people from the village camp.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So they
You
drink.
can't bloody make this sound without falling out. I'm all right, Mitch.
Well,
Say
yeah.
nothing.
They
We wouldn't want to
eat,
encourage
they
people to
drink, they
drive
listen
home.
to the music,
Okay.
they go and stay in a tent overnight, they go home and have a shower, and they come back the
Yeah.
next day.
Fantastic.
Oh, we have showers.
We have showers.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if that's the high and low. So your constant thing is finding stuff. You keep the ones that are really good. You're looking out for new things
Yeah.
and keeping everyone happy. Fantastic. You, sir, what would you say your biggest high low?
So I think our biggest struggle is volunteers, and definitely for the last festival.
Yeah.
And I think there was lots of different factors in that, but we didn't seem to get as much participation as we really would have hoped.
Yeah.
So if you want to come to the festival for free, sign up and volunteer.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the
Which
way.
we can get the details of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so before we go, we'll have it so we can put that along the bottom of this as we're saying it. Because it might be the only thing that people go, couldn't hear a bloody word they were saying. Some about volunteers, some about captain, some about them being a piss head. Hey, cut that out, lad, shut it.
Here's the web address.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was probably the biggest concern. And without volunteers, nothing would happen. So,
So
and that's through the setup, through the running the festival, and the takedown.
Yeah.
And you know, we really struggled with the number of volunteers. So actually, during the festival, it's then where we've got this pool of volunteers. Where do we need to put them? Where's the prioritisation for those people? High points. The high point is actually the volunteers. Actually,
Yeah.
you see
When it all comes together,
you see
you've
these
got-
group of people. A lot of them I've never met before. They come in there, and I think as Rich and Colin were saying about the merchandise, you get their personality. They put their mark on the festival in their way. So there was one particular lady who, and I won't mention her name, who came and volunteered, and I was struggling for someone to run the volunteer HQ. So we have a central point where the volunteers come, they can leave their stuff, they get their kit, whatever. And I was struggling, and this particular lady said, I'll do it. I'm here for a couple of hours. I'll do it. She was there all day, bless her.
Yeah.
And then she came back
Yeah.
the following day.
Ah, fair play.
And it's just, to me, that's amazing that people give their time. Once we get them on site, they'll just give their time so freely.
I'd
Get
second that.
fully engaged in it, because it's a wonderful experience. And that's actually how I got so involved. I volunteered.
Yes. Yeah.
I volunteered initially, and then I got road tickets.
Once we got his hand in the mangle, that was
Yeah.
it. That was it.
I couldn't stay.
Now you're showing your age, a lot of people won't know what mango is.
And I think the other thing, the high point really is 2 weeks before the festival, we have a field.
Yeah.
The morning of the festival, it's transformed into something beautiful. We've got tents, we've got generators, we've got vendors, we've got signage, we've got signs, we've got lights. This year, we're going to have lasers.
So you know,
It's amazing, that transformation.
I'd second that, because I think in terms of highs, my probably my favourite bit of the whole festival is the setup week.
Yeah.
I probably even like that more than the festival itself,
Yeah.
because there's no other environment where you get a bunch of guys and girls that come together from all different walks of life. You've got
builders,
plumbers, accountants, you name it, retirees, that just come together and make it happen. And like you say, it goes from being a field to
Field of dreams.
by the Thursday night when it gets dark and the festoon lights come on, and you can hear the sort of the guys on different stage doing all their line checks and sound checks and stuff, and you can almost feel a buzz as to what's going to happen, and it comes alive, and that's my favourite bit of the whhole festival.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's not just one stage, is it?
No, it's
three,
across the whole
four.
site. Yeah.
So it becomes like without wishing to sound
A living
just
thing, yeah.
an organism.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah.
Starts generating its own particular energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been involved in a few over the years. I know exactly that thing.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Oh, right. Oh, you're doing the set thing, which has its own beauty.
Yeah.
Because you're overcoming all this sort of stuff, and then you can't see the width of the trees. Then before you look at it, you got a whole forest.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
And then like that,
There's no
and then like that,
in
you've
there.
got to take it all down again.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, all these trees, trees down.
And that sort of reminds me of another story. Well, during the setup week, there was a guy just turned up. He was on his way home from work. He saw what we were doing, and he popped in and said, "Oh, what are you guys up to?" That's what he said. It was, I'll finish work early tomorrow, and I'll come and give you a hand."
Yeah.
And pretty much then every hour.
Brought skills with him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he electrician or plumber?
No, it's a tank driver.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. It's like plumbing. And electricity.
Yeah. At the same time.
Like it, so then pretty much every hour they had sex and he wasn't driving his tanker.
Yeah.
He was at the festival, and it's people like that that make the event.
Yeah.
And it's great because we basically graft through the day, and then in the evening we stop and we have a barbecue and a beer, and everyone's like sat around
Love
a
it.
campfire
Love it.
and just talking rubbish basically. But
Like,
having a
come on, Rich, I think we've come the
And
time.
then,
I can't believe that.
and then start again at 7 a.m. the next morning.
yeah.
So what about you, sir?
Well, the challenging parts
Yeah.
for me are my role is to look after the safety of the public and governance and comply with all the regulations and rules. So I'm kind of captain anti-fun, if you like. It's it's not a great role because you know I'm doing things.
Someone's
like
got to do it.
no cars in the campsite, and
Yeah.
you know what are the rules for the security team, and how do we prevent this and that happening, and poisoning and water and all that kind of thing. And you know it's a hard it's a hard task to follow,
Yeah.
but you know,
Has to be done.
it's vital.
Yeah.
And it pays off. On the flip side though, the bit that I like is very much like what Rich was saying. It's the community, the team, when it comes to life. I mean, I really enjoy us as a team,
Yeah.
getting together every week. It's quite purposeful. We get to meet these amazing people along the way,
Yeah.
and then during the festival, absolutely fabulous. And I get a kind of unique insight into backstage, which I'm not used to. I've never seen live music really in my life.
Wow.
Never done it.
Yeah.
And I get to hang out backstage and watch these amazing performers do their thing. It's magical. I'm always in awe of musicians anyway,
Yeah.
and how they do it. And so I get this extraordinary insight
Yeah.
into what actually goes on behind the scenes of a music festival. And so I will try as much as possible.
You're making
It's basically
a lot. You're
a lot of
actually making
people.
what happen.
It's a lot of people sat on a sofa looking at their phones backstage. That's all that goes on. It's not. There's nothing more interesting than that.
Yeah. But yeah, that part is amazing. 'Cause we don't generally get much time to cruise around and do the music festival as punters during those
You've
3
always got
days.
that brain of looking at what's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've all got radio earpieces and we're all listening to each other. We're listening to the natter from the security team, natter from the vendors, and the
Rich retching in the
volunteers.
field.
I'm just thinking of some of the things that I've heard in terms of banter going on, and I can't repeat any of them.
We're always saying, "Where's Rich?"
Yeah.
Where do you think he is?
Well, shots fired.
Wow. Okay, listen, I have, as I say, been involved in a few things over the years, and I know they're incredibly, can be totally stressful and assembly coverage and stuff we've been involved in. But the fact that you do it year after year is absolute testament to you as individuals, to your village possibly as well, and to the nature of community. So on behalf of the world of people that do stuff, because we're always trying to get people to do stuff, you're doing it really well. So I want to say, and we could obviously want to come to one way or the other, we can't just shout from the sides. Right, Rich, put that bolt down, smell you, health and safety. Isn't it? It is there. It is one.
It's funny.
I don't understand where that comes
Just
from.
remember, Ed, if you don't buy a ticket, you're not getting in.
Oh no, I know that.
Unless you
Yeah.
volunteer.
Of course I'll volunteer to buy a ticket. Thank you so much. Right, let's see if this actually worked as a recording. But if it didn't, what a great crack.
Can you let us know dates? Maybe a
Oh, yeah.
tantalising
Yeah,
headliner.
you're right, Donna.
and-
Dates again.
Go on,
Okay,
do
so
dates.
it's from the 30th of June to the 2nd of July. So it's the June-July weekend. And did you want us to do an exclusive?
Yeah, go on, because
Yeah, so
we'll put
all
this
right.
out when you want us to put it
So
out. I don't care. but-
our first band announcement that's playing on Sunday, so the 2nd of July, we've got EMF.
That's lucky I've actually paid them.
Wicked. Right, but I know there's some cracking people involved, so I've got the inside track on that. So I might just buy my ticket now.
Yeah, just visit the website. It's all there.
Yeah, but so just the rough price. What's so a day ticket? Is there a day ticket price?
I can't remember what the price is.
It'll be on the website.
Be on the
And
website.
it's- and you can have a weekender, and you can have a camping one.
I think the
all inclusive.
weekend tickets 80, 85, something like that.
Something like that.
So that's
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
For the whole weekend.
And we do
Well, family
family
ticket.
tickets as well.
So,
Yeah. There's
Twelves,
just there's
two
loads.
kids.
That's split across that
And
time.
you're not putting your hand in your pocket for the kids zone once you're
No,
in. Once
that's
you're in
it,
the
it's
kids
all
zone,
done.
it's all included. And
Yeah.
we spent 14 grand on the kids zone
Wow.
to
Wow.
provide all of that stuff in there. And the kids
Like
can
they
just
got
go in there and
climbing
stay
walls.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well done. Well done to you. Seriously, thank you very much. I'm clapping in a podcast in the middle of nowhere. But seriously, thank you, Donna. Maya, I don't know what this is going to sound like. Let's have a little listen to it now. But thank you again. The Mighty Music Festival
Thank you,
next
Ed.
June. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Nice
thanks
one.
a
It's a
lot.
wrap.
Thank you.
Bye.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, just another speck in the cosmic show.